Okay.
Tony, do I have a ball standing right behind the chair?
Huh?
Do you just stand behind that chair? I'm going to introduce Clark.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. There you go. We've got the light on.
All right, welcome to the Atlanta Internet Video Marketing Association meeting about live webcasting. And I want to thank all of you who came down here to this beautiful studio to join us, as well as our online audience. And I want to ask our online audience to kind of share this and put it out on social media. And if there's a way for you to join us through social media, Tony's going to talk about that. Tony Hale has his own company that provides all kinds of live webcasting equipment. He also does live webcasting. It's Performance PC is his company. But first I want to introduce Clark Otten, who was kind enough to let us use the studio tonight. And he's from...
Hi, Donna.
Hi, thank you.
Thanks for coming here. Thank you for everybody for joining us. My name is Clark Otten, and the name of the studio is Southern Heritage Video Productions. And we're happy to host this event tonight. We've worked with Tony for quite a while, and he's a real font of knowledge in 100 different areas. I don't know how many times he's been this out. Some might be probably, yep, Tony. So he's a great asset to have and a good source for a lot of your needs. So if any of you have not had a chance to look around, please feel free after the meeting to grab either Mike or myself. This is Michael Chandler, my partner, and we'll be happy to show you around. Our studio is for rent, bare bones. If you want to come in and just do production work, what we'd really rather have you do is hire us to do the full production from start to finish. But we have a little bit of everything in between, including equipment rentals. So welcome for being here, and I'm going to turn it over to, I guess, Tony. You're next up. Yeah. Okay. Tony Hale. Good evening. Can I sit down here in this chair? Can I get comfortable? Is this okay? So we have half the audience that's here, and half the audience is actually watching the live stream. Is that cool? Actually, there's probably even more people watching the live stream, right? We got, how many about it? We got 200 people out there watching live stream. Is that, this camera right here, right? Live stream. Okay, so everybody is interested in live stream, right? How many people have any experience with live stream at all? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So, a lot of people come to me and they're like, live stream's cool. All we need is a camera. And all we have to do? Well, there's a little bit more to it. So what are all the components? How do you actually make it work, right? So you've got so many things, so many components that need to go in to make it all work together. Like the computer, the live stream computer, which Donna is sitting at over here, streaming, switching computers, switching cameras, and we've got multiple cameras. So you've got to have a computer to actually take the feed from the camera, to a form that it can then send down the internet to a server that people can log into to watch the live stream. So you got the components. You've got a camera, you've got a computer, you've got the internet, you've got what's called a CDN, which is a company that actually, a networking company that actually maintains the service for the server for the live stream, and then your viewers. So the first thing you deal with internally is you've got your camera. How do you get your camera connected to the computer? So in this case, with the cameras that Clark has, these two are SDI connection, serial digital interface. So it's connected to my computer, which has SDI input direct from the camera to the computer. In the case of the third camera, which is HDMI, I'm using a converter. Converting the HDMI signal to SDI and going into the system. So, the system that I'm using, I have a Matrox card. Is anybody familiar with Matrox? Matrox has been around for years.
providing video products. This particular card that I've got here is a 4-port Matrox card. It'll handle up to 4 cameras. So I can connect 4 cameras to the computer, and I can switch between the cameras during the live stream. So you have to deal with connectivity. Now we can deal with connectivity all the way from the old days to current technology that we're using now with SDI. You know, the older cameras used to be analog connectivity. So now we got to figure out, just like in the old editing days, and how do we get the camera connected to the computer? We deal with that. If it's analog, component analog, composite, we figure out what kind of hardware we need in the computer to get that connectivity. So you deal with cameras. What kind of cameras and what kind of connectivity do you need in the cameras? What kind of connectivity do you need in the computer to get these two connected together? So we deal with connectivity, whether it's analog, digital, or whatever the connectivity is. All right. Then we've got the computer. So computer to handle a live stream, actually with a single stream or 2 streams, with 2 or 3 cameras, relatively, horsepower. It doesn't take a tremendous amount of performance to be able to do the live stream. In this system here, I've got 16 gigs of memory. I've got solid-state hard drives. I've got mine actually designed with a little bit more performance to do other features that we'll kind of talk about, capabilities that we'll talk about in the streaming world, that really have a little more demand from the computer. So in the computer side, you've got hardware by way of some kind of a PC board to allow you to connect to the camera, to the computer. You've got software in the computer. In this case, I use software made by a company called Telestream. The software is called Wirecast. Wirecast software is a software designed for doing live streaming or live encoding. Another popular software is Livestream is the name of the company. And there's another comparable software called vMix. So there are only really, I think, 3 big companies out there that are developing the software to do live stream effectively. In my case, of course, I'm a dealer for live stream or Telestream. I kind of prefer Telestream. It's a very easy product to use. It's very feature rich. It does everything, most of the stuff that you're familiar with in an editing environment, from CG to chroma key. You can add any kind of graphics into it. So you've got the software component in the PC. And I am a PC builder, so it's in a PC for my system. They also have a Mac version, so it does cross-platform. If you're using a Mac, then they have Mac versions of software. So you're dealing with connectivity, you're dealing with the software. So those are 2 of the components that it takes to do live stream, right? Then internet connection. About this before we got started with the internet connection. If you're going to stream an HD signal with maybe 1 stream or 2 streams of HD, I would recommend at least 5 meg of bandwidth on your internet connection, and you want it to be a hardwired connection. You do not want to do live stream on Wi-Fi. Live stream across Wi-Fi is just not a good stable environment, and you'll have a lot of dropouts, jerky, jumpy delays in performance. It's just not a good technology for live streaming. So you definitely want a good hardwired connection. So you want to physically connect the network port on the computer to the internet. Okay? Now, on the other end of that pipe, there are services called CDNs that are service providers that provide the server to stream the video. Now, when you look at streaming video, the other side got people that are attaching to watch your live stream. How many people do you have that are going to be physically watching on the other side? Each person that is going to watch the live stream is going to take a certain amount of bandwidth. So that's the reason why you need that component. You need that CDN, that company that has a big pipe, kind of like an internet provider that builds websites and various things like that hosts websites. They've got the bandwidth. They've got a big pipe coming in from the phone company or the service provider, and so you need that big pipe. Now it's actually got more affordable today than it was, say, 2-3 years ago. 2 or 3 years ago, it was pretty cost prohibitive. Today, it's relatively inexpensive, to get a service provider. One of the service providers and the provider that we're using tonight is a company called Streamview. Streamview is a company that I represent that has packages. Now, they've got, like, for instance, one package. Their basic package is $100 a month. For $100 a month, you get 200 user hours. Okay, what's a user hour? A user hour is just that. It's a user that's watching a live stream for 1 hour. So you've got, say, a show that you're doing once a week, and you've got 50 people that are watching that show live. So 50 times 4 weeks is 200. So there's your user hours, right? So one user, 1 hour. Okay, so that's their package. 200 user hours is $100 a month, and then it goes up from there. So it's a lot more affordable. I mean, it used to be back where, to do something like that for 200 user hours was probably $2,000 or $3,000. So it's definitely a lot more affordable today than it was, a couple of 2 or 3 years ago. So it's gotten to the point now where live streaming is just a really hot industry right now. I mean, when you consider a lot of people probably, if you're doing corporate video, somebody in the corporate world, if they're doing a big corporate meeting, and they're a big national or international company, and they've got people that they might fly in from all over the world and have to deal with travel expenses and hotels and food and all the expenses they deal with. If they can live stream and have those people attend the meeting live stream rather than that huge expense, I mean, that's huge for them. So, I mean, it is for you to go in and set up a live stream, you can definitely be very effective, and you can make good money live streaming events in the corporate world. Another huge industry for live streaming is churches. Our church does a live stream every Sunday. We started live streaming about 5 years ago. When we started our first live stream, we were having 25 to 30 people every week that were watching our 11 o'clock service every Sunday morning. Today, we've got over 500 people watching our 11 o'clock service every Sunday morning. So, in that industry, house of worship, live streaming is huge. Education. It's really growing in education. I mean, when we first started looking at education, we thought, well, this is cool. They can live stream football games and basketball games and graduations and all these events that they have. But wait a minute, what about what they're there for? The education component. What if we can live stream classrooms? We've got a teacher that's very effective at teaching. Their students in their classroom have a great benefit. But what about all these other students all over that would also benefit from that teacher if they had that teacher that was that effective? How about if we can now stream that class to various other classrooms and let all these other students attend this same class? Can we make it interactive? Sure, we can make it interactive. I think, Donna, you've got it set up now where Facebook. Okay, so we could set up Facebook, or we could do, and StreamView actually has the ability to do this too, where you can have a chat room going on, so you can have people that are watching live that are actually communicating, so now it's interactive. You know, if you wanted to, say, have Skype or Google Hangout or one of these video services, and you wanted to bring that in, certainly it's coming in across the internet. You can bring it right in and add it right to the live stream. Now you've got interactivity, video interactivity with people at different locations. So there are a lot of ways to really enhance your package when you things that you think about. Yeah, it's really the streaming industry is rapidly growing right now. Now's the time to get in. You know, if you're already doing video production and you know, you're looking for another way to another revenue source, live streaming is definitely something you want to look for.
All the features of the chat and everything is that like Wirecast production, that service for help.
Well, so Wirecast, of course, is a software company, but no, with StreamView, StreamView actually is a feature of their package. You can get chat capability. But I mean, if you're doing chat on Facebook, you can do chat on Facebook because you're on the internet. They can get to Facebook. You're on the internet. You can get to Facebook. You can certainly do that kind of chat. If you're doing Skype, if you've got a Skype call coming in. Now, another component that Telestream added to their software, they've got another software called Desktop Presenter. Desktop Presenter is a free software. If you go on their product, if you go to Wirecast or their products, Desktop Presenter is a free software. What you can do with Desktop Presenter is you can have it run on another PC, and you can attach to the network, send whatever's on the screen of that PC into Wirecast. So now it becomes another source in Wirecast. It's like a camera. So, and you can select a region of the screen or the full screen. So if you've got a Skype call and you select that region of the screen that the Skype call is in, and send that across as the source coming into Wirecast, boom, now it's like another camera. So now you can add that Skype call right in. Now, of course, it also has a feature of picture-in-picture. So if you've got the main picture and your Skype call is a picture-in-picture, now just like with video production, you add that in there, so now that becomes a part of your production. So there's a lot of great features and functionality. And really with live streaming, it's just, you know, realizing as we went through all the components, what do you need to accomplish it, to put it all together and make it happen. And then it's just a matter of, you know, thinking about that. This is cool. Maybe I do this in the edit world. Can I do this over here in the live stream world? How do I get there? And it's just basically, I mean, because the industry is growing, it's, people are thinking of new things to do and new ways to do it all the time. So live stream is a huge opportunity.
Your system also capture and record the whole session.
Yeah, it's got the ability, and that's another feature, like for me, as I was saying with this system here, this has got a Matrox card in it. I'm also a Blackmagic dealer, so I also sell Blackmagic cards. There's one feature in particular that you get with Matrox that you cannot get with Blackmagic, and that is ISO record. ISO record is the ability to take every source that's coming in and record it. So now I've got 3 cameras connected to the system. I can switch, I can live stream, I can record the program side, the live stream, I can record that going out. I can also now turn on the ISO record and I can record the footage from every one of the cameras. Now, in my system, because I'm also an Adobe dealer, I've got Creative Cloud on that system there. So if I go and I live stream this event, but I've also got the footage from all these cameras and I want to go back after I'm through and do a multi-camera edit to create another content for play on demand or some form of distribution, I can do that as well. So that's a feature that Matrox adds that Blackmagic doesn't add. Matrox adds the ability to do ISO record. Now there's a price to that. Matrox's card, the VS4 card, which is what I'm using, 4-port card, is $1,500. The comparable card from Blackmagic, the Decklink Quad, is $1,000, but it won't do ISO record. Do you need ISO record? If it's a valuable benefit, if it's a valuable feature, then you get a Matrox.
So you got to look at what you're intending to do. You know, if these events that you're shooting
are going to be events that maybe you're going to go back and distribute some other way later, you might want to go Matrox so that you've got all this content, all this footage that you can edit from. So, there is, you can definitely record the output side as well as the input side.
So how much storage do you need if you've got 4 cameras going and you're doing a 1-hour event?
Well, it's really not that bad. I think probably 4 cameras. If you were doing 4 cameras, of course you're capturing as MPEG 4.
So really you're compressed pretty well. You're going to get really decent quality if you're doing 768
or maybe 1K compression. You're probably, with all 4 cameras, going to be less than 20 gigs. So, and
one of the things that I did, which is a little different from the other systems that I'm doing on this system right here,
I've got 3 solid-state hard drives. So I've got a solid-state hard drive for my C drive, for my applications in my OS drive. I've got 2 solid-state hard drives that are rated together as RAID 0 to give me really high performance, simply to be able to capture, because that's one of the things, if you're doing ISO record, that's one of the things you got to look at. You've got to make sure you accommodate the storage side to make sure that you can keep up, that your storage can keep up. So in this case, I've got 2 solid-state drives rated together. If they were mechanical drives, I probably would do 4. So.
It's a 3.6 gigahertz, so 16 gigs of memory. It very easily keeps up with what we're trying to do.
Yes.
So say you have like a decent amount of cameras and you need external monitors. Can you hook them up to that system?
Yeah, you can do that, or
Can you repeat the question?
okay. He asked about hooking up other monitors to the system, so having multiple monitors. So, if you've got multiple cameras, you need more real estate, you can certainly do that. The way I built this system, it's capable of handling 2 monitors. Of course, we could, with another card, we could actually do more than that now, but that is a good point. Say you've got an event that you're doing that you want to live stream, but wait a minute, what about everybody that's inside? They want to be able to see it too, or there's a room over here, an overflow room over here that everybody needs to see. You can actually take the output out of the other channel of the graphics card, route it to a projector or a television, and show full screen exactly what you're streaming.
So what's the video out?
That one right there has got HDMI or DVI. So, and it pretty much will accommodate everything that's out there today. So, yeah.
Tony, say you were doing a wedding, you were broadcasting live.
Mm-hmm.
If you had cameras that were wireless,
Yeah.
And going back to the system, is there lag time or anything?
No.
If you were, so you're not going to see any shuttering or anything?
No, but that brings up a good point. Connectivity. There is definitely connectivity for wireless. HDMI generally is what I do, is HDMI connectivity. I use one that costs about $900, but it pushes out to almost 200 feet. It's HDMI. So in that case, I would do HDMI right on the camera. On this end right here, I would either have a card in there that supports HDMI, or I would do like we did here with the converter, convert HDMI to SDI and right into the system. So, yeah, but there's, no, it's very clean, very clean. You know, and, you know, one of the things that you can see bandwidth-wise, if your facility doesn't have adequate bandwidth, or, you know, the bandwidth is a little bit low for streaming, it'll start lagging a little bit. You know, average lag time on your live stream is probably gonna be maybe 6 to 8 or 10 seconds. If your physical connection, the bandwidth is low, it might, over time, it'll start getting a little bit longer. It might get up to 20 or 30 seconds. So bandwidth is really pretty critical to have the good bandwidth from the computer to the internet. From the camera to the computer, all the HDMI or all the wireless devices that are out there that I've tested today work great. No problem at all.
Good to know, thank you.
Anybody else? We've answered that, but Gus?
Are there any tricks, like if you're at a location with less than ideal bandwidth, or are you just kind of out of luck at that point?
Yeah, I've had people that have taken like bonded cell signals, things like that, but you know, it's just like talking on your cell phone. You know, certain areas, it just don't work. And so it's just not a good environment. You know, I think, you know, if you've got enough money and you want to do an uplink, piece of cake. That you could do, but not cell signals or Wi-Fi. Just not enough bandwidth there yet. You know, I've heard that there is a new standard that's coming, MPEG-5. MPEG-5, I think, is because of the compression. It's supposed to be compressing it down a little bit smaller, so requiring less of a pipe, less bandwidth to get it from point A to point B. So that's possible. You know, there's definitely technology that's in development. I think before long we'll see it where we can do it on Wi-Fi, but right now it's just not quite there yet. Anything else? I think we covered connectivity. We've covered the different softwares, different hardwares. We've covered output, we've covered servers. There are definitely a lot of servers out there. I use StreamView as a company that I represent. There's also Ustream, Limelight, Akamai. There's a lot of good services out there. I've had people that come to me and, well, I can get this service over here and it's free. Well, just like anything else you get, if it's free, it's probably going to be a problem. And, you know, I've had some people that come to me, like even churches that come to me and, well, I can do it on this server right here and it's free. But, you know, when you get a free service like that, they're going to be throwing advertisements up there and you don't know what's going to be, you don't know what people are going to see while they're seeing your live stream. So free services definitely are not a good idea. So, anything else? I think we've kind of covered everything. Donna is working the system and she's switching everything, and so I must have done a really good job. Everybody, no questions? It's like, you know, either everybody's totally confused or yeah.
Tony, can I afford this? Or do I need to get another job?
Sure you can. Yeah, actually, you know, that box right there, because of the way I built it out with Matrox and the SSD drives and everything, that box is a little more expensive. That box is about $6,500, but I just delivered one to a customer up in Ann Arbor, Michigan, that it's just a basic 2-camera system, was right at $4,000.
Awesome, thank you.
So what do you do about playing back your videos, like archives or later or stuff like that? You talked about live, so do you provide it after the fact?
Yeah, so what we can do is, and there's, you know, as I talked about the ISO record, of course you can record all of the content from all of your sources, so that you've got everything. If you wanted to go back and do a multi-camera edit later, you've got the content from every one of your cameras that you could do that with. You're also, and Donna actually, with what we're doing here, she is capturing the program side. So she's going to get an MPEG-4 file when we're through. She will get an MPEG-4 file that she can then take and put up on her website. So you can go to her website later now and watch playback on demand and watch this later. So yeah,
She's hosting that on her website host, or how you?
I just put it on YouTube and then you guys can watch it.
yeah.
Thank you.
So for those kind of things, YouTube and those kind of things, I mean, everybody's familiar with those now. I mean, you know, for short stuff, you know, you can do it for free. You can also get a paid account to do it, which is a little more secure, a little bit better, a little bit longer videos. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different ways to do that, but that would be more handled by your internet, whoever hosts your website. Make sure you've got a good hosting company that can handle, and that'll be something that you'll want to ask them when you talk to them about hosting your website. Am I going to be able to put video up there? And, you know, are people going to be able to watch video on my website? That's something that you want to find out and make sure they're capable of.
Yeah, because you said it was about 50 cents per viewer hour, basically.
Yeah, well, that's live stream. That's live stream. For play on demand, that's a little bit different, and actually depending on who your service provider is, who you're paying for your hosting. I mean, they may have that feature for free. So all you're going to do at that point is you're going to upload it, and in her case, she uploads it to YouTube, and then on her website she puts a link to that YouTube URL, so that when people click on her website, it looks like it's playing right off of her website, where it's actually piping in from YouTube. Yes.
My limited experience with live stream, you have to select the quality of your signal out of their video. In general, would you want to do as high of quality as your Ethernet will support, or?
Yeah, well, and to a certain extent. I think if you're up around 1,000 or 1,200K, you're probably going to be good for a good full stream.
Okay.
It's
So
going to look
people
really
can,
good.
if they have good internet, then they'll be able to. Because does it also size down the sample for the end user as well?
It depends on the service provider.
Okay.
Some of them, and that's a good point. You know, you know, this system right here with Wirecast will allow you to stream multiple bit rates to multiple providers.
But then
So
you
if
need
you've
more
got
bandwidth.
if you got an account with Ustream and an account with Limelight, and you wanted to send one stream over here and one stream over there, you could do that. If you wanted to say have a stream that goes up and you've got of course mobile devices. We're dealing with mobile devices today. So how does it handle that? You have to talk to your service provider, your CDN, to find out how they do it. Some service providers, what they'll do is you send them one stream and they transcode it to different bit rates to handle those devices. Some of them won't do that. In that case, you might send multiple streams. So that's something you want to consider, mobile devices, because everybody, you know, the world is going mobile today. So,
How about security this evening, Tony? When, if you're doing a corporate meeting, the CDN handle the security side of it? If it was inside the firewall of that company, they would just stream internally.
right,
And people would pick it up.
right.
Like you brought up mobile, say somebody's in the San Francisco office and wants to check it out on their iPhone.
Right, right. Yeah, well, the CDN, you know, you can either, there's a lot of different ways that you'll handle that. Most of that will probably be handled by your IT guy or their IT guy. Because, I mean, the way it's going to work is you're going to have, yeah, you've got to have a CDN. You've got to have a service provider to stream on their server. But you don't, in our case, we're sending them right to StreamView, but really in most cases, you'll have a link on your web page that somebody will click on that'll bring that video in. So that connectivity to whether or not you want to have it protected with the username password, you'll handle that in your website, not in theirs.
Right, okay.
Anything else? It's good questions. Okay. Yeah.
this is where we are today. Where do you see the technology going tomorrow?
We're just really getting started good with live streaming, so it's just taken off, and I think, we're just going to get better as far as compression rates. Like I said, I have heard that there's a new compression coming out, MPEG-5, that's going to be even better compressed. Of course, cameras. I'm not sure we even need to be at 4K right now for streaming. I don't think there's anybody out there that can handle that, but eventually, maybe. This is even the broadcast world headed towards streaming. I mean, a lot of these broadcasters you see, they've got a site you can go to watch whatever content they've got streamed on the internet. So, where people are not all the time sitting in their family room watching TV. They're out, traveling and watching stuff from their mobile device, and everything they're watching from their mobile device is streaming from somewhere.
So I've got a question in kind of two parts. First is, have you done anything with like a hardware switcher, video switcher,
Mm-hmm.
multi-camera?
Mm-hmm.
And if you have, then do you prefer software switching with computer as opposed to hardware, or just what instances would you use one over the other?
Well, I think cost-wise, external switchers are pretty expensive. But depending on what you're doing, if you've got a producer in there that's calling the shots, you may want an external switcher. You may want to switch it externally. If you've got, of course, I can handle any number of cameras. I can handle in this system. But if you wanted to stretch it out there where you've got 10 or 12 cameras, you might want to do that in an external switcher, and then just pass the signal from the external switcher in and just stream the signal that you're receiving. So there are times when you might want it, but an external switcher, since you've already got switching capabilities built in, external switchers are pretty expensive. So,
Yeah, well, I work with a producer, and his crew knows their switcher,
yeah,
so to teach them the software
yeah.
might be.
The software is so easy. It's kind of like where of course there's a lot of different things that they can do on the switcher, programming, a lot of programming features and things like that. But you can do a lot of that stuff here, and you go ahead and set it up just like you would a switcher. You set it up ahead of time, and now it's just click, 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 click. It's real easy. Real easy.
Let's wrap it up. Just one more question. Anybody else have a question?
Actually, I'll add one because maybe people who aren't here might want to see this, Tony. It's like, when it's all packed up, how much does this whole thing weigh? I watched you reel it in on a card.
Yeah. Well, the system itself is about the way that one's set up right there is about 22 pounds, and then all your peripheral devices and cables and everything else might be another 15 pounds. So definitely less than 50 pounds.
So you can check it on there.
Yeah. And with this one right here, this system right here is a transportable system. That brings up a good point. I just sold one to a company in Ann Arbor, Michigan, like this. And when he called me, he said, I'm having a problem with my laptop. I'm streaming from my laptop. About the only device that's out there for connectivity on a laptop is a Blackmagic Intensity that's connected USB 3, and it is very unstable. They experience nothing but problems with it all the time. So I told him, I said, Dan, we get one of these right here, it's just going to work. You're not going to have any problem with it. So, I just shipped him one and talked to his guy today. They just received it. And when he gets out there and sets up this camera, and he actually has an external switcher, when he gets out there and sets his stuff up, it's just going to work. He's not going to have to worry about, connecting USB 3. Then they've got a Thunderbolt version, but how many laptops have Thunderbolt capabilities today? So to do live streaming on a laptop, it's very difficult. This system right here is mobile. It's very easy. I've got cases. The cases, if you see those cases sitting over there on the floor, those are the cases that I use. One of them actually has wheels in the handle. It's just like your luggage. You just pull it where you're going, set it all up, plug it in, set it up, turn it on, you're ready to go. Took us, about 15 minutes. We were set up and streaming.